Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. Today, AMD officially launched their RX 5500 series GPUs. Now, if you keep up with the channel, that's not very surprising. Video cards leaked most of the information, including the announcement date that I went over a couple weeks ago. With that said, the release itself has kind of been a crap storm of confusion. For one, some outlets seem to be confused when it comes to nomenclature. They're reporting both an RX 5500 and RX 5500 XT. The issue is that from my briefing AMD gave me, there isn't an RX 5500 XT version. The outlet seems to think the XT model is the one with 8GB of GDDR6, but that's still the 5500, or maybe not? This is where things get really confusing. On AMD.com's official RX 5500 specs page, the boost frequencies are completely different from the company's initial briefing as well as the TDP. It also only says 4GB of memory, while the briefing clearly states up to 8GB. Now, it does state the RX 5500 series in quite a few places, but it clearly just says the RX 5500 when they're comparing performance. The only two options I can think is that there is some RX 5500 XT with 8GB, but it just hasn't been announced yet and they messed up the briefing. Or the more likely of the two, they seriously messed up on the specs page. Basically, things need to get clarified here, and I'll make sure to do that in either a second video or a pinned comment below. With all of that said, there are a few things we do know. For one, the cards that have definitely been released are the RX 5500 and 5500M, with the M version obviously being the mobile variant and non-M for desktop. When it comes to specs, both the RX 5500 GPUs come with 1408 stream processors, with the 5500M getting lower clocks. Now, back to that weirdness, the RX 5500 has a completely different boost frequency and game frequency when compared to the original slides. And on the specs page, it actually doesn't even make sense because the boost frequency should be higher than the game frequency, since that's the highest possible frequency you can get, while the game frequency is the highest it should get while you're doing intensive tasks. The 5500M's frequencies are also different, but it just gets them backwards instead of putting a completely random frequency like they did in the RX 5500. I will say that I'm assuming the 1670 MHz is the base frequency, since for whatever reason that isn't even listed on the website. When it comes to memory, the RX 5500M only comes with 4GB of GDDR6, while the 5500 is supposed to come with up to 8GB, though the specs page only says 4, so we obviously have to wait for clarification on that. Either way, both GPUs seem to be spec'd out pretty well. Moving on to actual performance, you can see AMD pitted the RX 5500 against the GTX 1650, and it absolutely destroys it, getting as high as 51% more performance to the 1650 in Overwatch. The RX 5500M also performs quite admirably when comparing it to NVIDIA's GTX 1650 Mobile. Though with notebooks, the thermal headroom in each notebook can change things drastically, so of course it's best to wait for third-party reviews instead of trusting first-party performance. When it comes to price, unfortunately AMD hasn't said anything, which brings me to the major downside of this release. As of now, the RX 5500 is only releasing for OEM partners, which is why it shows pre-built PCs on the marketing page. With that said, board partners are going to be releasing custom cards in Q4 of this year, and given the comparison, I'd expect the 5500 to be right around the same price as the GTX 1650. Finally, when it comes to making a suggestion, I definitely want to get clarification on specs, and there's the obvious issue of NVIDIA's rumored GTX 1650 Ti and 1660 Super. So as of now, AMD seems to have knocked it out of the park performance-wise, but NVIDIA could be coming back hard as well. But as long as the price is right, this seriously could be a home run. So while that does it for today, what do you think of AMD's newest cards? Are you wanting to pick up an RX 5500? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe for more gaming hardware news and reviews. And as always, have a great day.